public forum. So you know what I had to do? I had to do the John Cusack thing. I had a sign that says, "Stop gagging homeless advocates." And I had a sign that said, there are 3 statutes that require you, that you are omitting, that require a shelter there, right? So I had to stand up and hold the sign. Corniest crap ever, right? So I'm holding the sign behind the mayor. And when I did that, my heart is beating a mile a minute. Because in fact, Denise Fry has taken active shooter training. I don't know if I'm going to be tackled to the ground. I don't know if they're going to scream bloody murder.
Well, she already said that they're afraid for their life, right?
Yeah.
So they've already built in the excuse.
So I had to do that. I could not be silent. So even if it was only a sign, I had to mark that moment like, this is what's happening. You're lying to the public. You are actually misrepresenting the law. So we literally put the 3 statutes that require step housing in Bremerton, right? So I got sidetracked. Why did I mention this?
Well, remember on that note,
Oh wait,
okay, go ahead.
It was about PR and how frightened they are of me, right? So there was a great moment where Jocelyn brought in quite a hefty group of homeless people that she serves regularly. She brought them to city council. I think this was about the opportunity zone and the shelter. So we're there and the meeting is over. And we're all there seated, but it's time to go home. So I get up and Jocelyn's behind me and she's got this really small army of homeless people. And some of these guys look magnificent because these are the survivors. They're wearing their backpacks. They look impeccable. They got their field jackets on. And I know that these are the survivors. These are like real F-bombs. These are the real Americans, right? They got pride. And they may be starving, but they're sticking it out. They're survivors. And then there are these other people, including one young lady I know who's homeless, I shared the meal with, and I later see her picking flowers. So, you want to talk about the homeless not being recognized as human? The homeless pick flowers because of their beauty, right? So in council, I give Jocelyn a hug. I'm like, oh, I didn't look behind me, so I didn't realize this throng of homeless people backing her up. One guy stepped up and spoke. So here we are, end of the council, and I turn around, and suddenly Jocelyn's grabbing me, and she wants me to be in this photo. So all these homeless people are gathering together for a photo op, and I'm not realizing who the photographer is going to be. And I turn around, and I swear to God, Denise Fry and Jennifer Chamberlain are out to get the Olympic sprint medal. They are running towards me.
They're hauling ass.
They are hauling butt, running towards me to be part of this photo op moment with Jocelyn and the homeless people. And I'm slow. So I'm still hugging up and I'm talking to this tall homeless guy and suddenly I see the camera and I'm ready to do my poor man's version of a smile to be in this, exalted moment. And it's Jennifer Chamberlain. I'm sorry. I failed as a love warrior. I love Cornel West in that moment. Again, sometimes it's hard to be a love warrior like Jocelyn. So I said, hell no. If I stand in front of this lady, I'm going to lose my soul. So I said, I got to get out of here. So I had to walk out. And I think the F-bomb was probably hurt. I had to get out of there. These 2 women who villainized me, like the next day, you can hear Denise Frey in the Public Safety Committee talking to the police and saying, we're really going to have to consider a police.
Yeah, police presence in here, right?
I think that's why my back is out. It was so stressful listening to this large, disturbed man. Yeah. She actually said that. So I had to get out of there, but these ladies somehow magically lost their fear of Jose. I don't know how that happened.
For a photo op.
The idea is that there is a lot of PR and fake crap going on when you talk about the homeless. Common Street, you know what the Parks Commission does now? When they want to combat the reality that we discovered, that they very casually call the homeless vagrant, that they can actually put on an agenda sheet, deter the homeless from parks. That's a disgrace, right? Mockler's moment She put on the agenda deterring the homeless from parks. So
She puts that on there.
It
it's
did.
on paper.
Yeah. With
So-
sprinklers.
So my thing at the Parks Commission is that is not tolerable. We really cannot be doing that. So now what I noticed Parks Commission does, they did it, I think at the last one, they put on their agenda that they're inviting Common Street. So what Common Street does, like the good contractors they are, is they create graphics.
Mm-hmm.
They'll say, well, we've had 11 meaningful engagements. We've had 12 encounters. So they created a piece of paper. So the way that the Parks Commission and actually also council deal with the reality of how we have exposed them as dealing with the homeless is they call Common Street, and Common Street, whose livelihood depends on council paying them,
Yeah.
will say, yeah, well, the Commonwealth is doing a great job, and well, we saw this. So they will give anecdotes and they'll talk about how they treat them, and so it all looks cool. I call it a dog and pony show, because if you're paying a contractor money, are they ever really going to be honest to the public and tell them what is really happening? Are they even capable of really being honest about it?
I would.
So
That'd be interesting for us to have kept our money or tracked the numbers that we were serving through COVID.
Kelsey tried. She's valiant effort to document things.
It just would have been impossible.
It was, we either had to focus on the data collection or people's lives.
Yeah.
And we chose the lives.
Yeah, we'd had to have almost double the people out there just to track
Yeah.
what we were doing.
Don't forget, Chamberlain at that next meeting tried to make it so people couldn't hold signs either, because it was really disturbing her. She, it's like a dictatorship. They don't want democracy.
man.
They don't want other people to talk.
what a moment that
Silence
was.
us all. Not even a sign,
What a moment.
But she wants to be in a picture with them. That's interesting.
Yes, it's bizarre.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. We just need to bring it to the light, you guys, because this is not brought to the light. They silence you, so maybe we can try here.
On the one hand, I feel like it's futile because that's kind of the culture here. But on the other hand, I can't stop talking. And by the way, I've never done this. I'm an introvert. I've never dreamed of doing this. But kind of because of Cornel West. Cornel West is this fascinating character to me. And I was hoping he could be president. But the beauty of Cornel West is that at heart, he's a philosopher, and he's actually a very traditional philosopher. But he also happens to be part of a marginalized community. So he represents to me the ideal merger of traditional American love of freedom, and the whole Western idea of egalitarianism, of equal protection. But he's also a scholar of Judaism. And his family is a traditional Southern, I believe, Baptist Christian family.
Well, let me tell you, Jose, why it's not hopeless and why it's not useless. And I tell a lot of my friends this, that are in the same fight, and it seems like nothing's ever going to change and everyone's against us, and year after year it's the same thing. If we felt that way through the hundreds of years that we came through slavery, and we decided not to fight, we'd still be in chains.
Yep.
And we're not.
And
So we have to continue to fight.
Yeah.
Right? We have to continue to fight.
Yes.
And, we're here today and we're free. And are things the way that they're, are things perfect? No. Do we still have things that we need to do? Absolutely. But we are way far away from where we were. Right? And we know that we've saved lives.
Yes.
I just bought
They saved ours too.
Yeah, I just bought a truck 2 days ago from Rich, right?
Oh, nice.
From Rich.
Yeah.
I just bought a truck 2 days ago from Rich, who was in my truck, right?
Yeah,
Selling fentanyl out of it, sleeping in it,
I got that thing back.
Right? Who restored his family, right? And, he's talking about, yesterday while we're trying to buy it, not only has he gotten his daughter back, but DSHS or CPS is trying to do a home visit and put the other sisters that aren't his daughters there in the home with him.
Wow.
Right? We're talking about 3 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, during COVID, he's in my truck on the block, right?
Stole it.
And so we know it works. We know it works. And so we have to continue. We have to continue the fight. And so it's absolutely worth
It's
it.
good to tell these stories too, because so many times people are glossing over and saying, "Oh, this is just a homeless or a housing problem," and it is. That's the hugest part of it, right? But to tell the stories of like, yeah, there's some really horrible things going on. Someone stole my car, was selling drugs on the street. How are we going to deal with that? Right. And that's what we're doing is we're trying to hit it head on, and we are going to deal with it. But you're not going to deal with it by not allowing the resources and people to help them that we can help them, because we've shown it. We can help people.
And for those stories, because a lot of folks will say, you know, why don't you open up your doors? It's like, well, look at the videos, because I have.
Yeah, we do.
You know, that man has cooked in my kitchen. You know, folks have slept in my home. Folks have slept in my business.
It's
you
not
know,
a you problem. It's
so,
not a me problem. It's a us problem.
Right.
So no, you shouldn't have to solve it yourself, Marwan.
No, I shouldn't.
Yeah.
But I've actually done it all. So, yeah. So that I'm probably the wrong one to say that to. But that really is what it is, and we do need to tell those stories. Because folks will recover. You know, that saying "we do recover" is absolutely true. Yes, they have to want it, and they have to do the work, and it is damn hard. And it might take a few times for it to take, but when you see it on the other side, man, it's amazing, right?
It's not all pretty.
No, it's not all pretty.
I mean, what really bothers me, I guess, if there's one thing I can emphasize for people who are new to this, like people who might be listening in and they haven't followed like council meetings or the history of this progression, is that what's happening now at the planning commission, what I am calling the sabotage, it is a veering away. The council, the government of this city voted twice for that project. And that project was planned out and presented in detail. There was no mystery about that project.
Nope.
And if we're listening closely, we'll hear Joe Crane saying, and it's very confirmable, that he gave, I think it was at least 12 presentations of their proposal throughout the city. The one district where that did not happen was Denise Fry. So, but Denise Fry knew about this project.
No, we did it twice actually. I have a poster
With
showing
Denise
it.
Fry?
She hosted one of them.
Well, to hear these people talk about being surprised, to the extent they were surprised is because Denise Fry wanted them to be surprised. You see Denise Fry immediately, once she found out about the master plan, I don't think the timing is coincidental. Once Sound West Group told her about the Harrison Heights master plan, that's when you see her sabotaging.
Pivot award for her.
That's when you see her taking steps to take down that project. In January 2025, she learns about Wesley ARPA's master plans for Harrison Heights development. And within a month, you see these signs. She's reaching out to come up with arguments for sabotaging the project. And it's about the site, the land. Developers need that land to make their money. So they are jealous when someone else has control or ownership of land. So the fact that the mayor is zeroing in on the parcel, that Andrew Spencer with her fake spot zoning argument is zeroing in on that parcel, that Jane and Rebolowski have a letter where they are claiming to want to correct the record. They are zeroing in on that project. We never told you that that location was okay. They didn't need to. When they voted for that project, it was part of the proposal that the partners, the BHA, they would have to look for the property site. They would have to go throughout the city to find it.
And they have the right.
That was understood. There's no language anywhere from the supposed adult who voted for the project twice that they needed to go to them to okay the location. That was never part of the agreement. That's not part of the interlocal.
But developers don't do that, right?
You go where you can go, right?
Right.
To fit your needs. The BHA has a need. It's very particular because originally it was, to me, it was a state of the art, a very enlightened, all-encompassing multifaceted hybrid shelter project. It was designed to address the different kinds of homeless that there are. Because we know that the homeless are not monolithic. Their proposal was a way to have the widest net to help the widest kinds of the homeless. And it was frankly brilliant.
It's
Oh,
very
and
brilliant.
by the
It
way,
still is.
something that no one says, which is part of the cynicism that the city is putting out there now. The Bremerton Housing Authority is a governmental unit. It's a special kind of governmental unit. If you look at the laws that authorize the creation of agencies like the Bremerton Housing Authority, you know what they're for? They are expressly for low-income housing. It exists for no other reason but to create low-income housing. And when you read that law, it says, because we understand, and this is the state of Washington talking, that law that enables housing authorities says, because we acknowledge that housing for the homeless will never be competitive with market rate housing, we need to have agencies like this to help create low-income housing. So it is ridiculous to pretend that this 1 million word presentation that's intended for projects like Marina Square, that somehow that's applicable. These kinds of shelter and transitional projects necessarily need to be, because they're for the low income and they're going to be proposed by low income housing authorities, they're going to have to be low expense. They're going to have to be projects which are cheaper to build. So they are going to have to make concessions. They're going to have to accommodate the inherent limitations of this kind of housing. It's going to have to be cheaper materials, smaller units, right? Communal living. It just will have to be. So it just so happens that step housing laws from the state of Washington says, make it happen, create zoning, create development regulations that allow that kind of housing. Has Bremerton done it? No. Bremerton is trying to foist the existing crap that they have for places like Marina Square, and they're trying to basically fit a square peg in the round hole. That is part of the scam that we're having to suffer through right now.
And you said, what do they do? Do they do this to developers too? Well, there was an email we uncovered sent to the governor, because he's the one that will like pick who gets these opportunity zones designated. And you only can apply for them if you're an incredible, it's like invoking the name of the poor. Only the poorest regions can receive this, right? Because it's supposed to help them get out of that.
Right.
We see a letter sent to the governor reassuring him, don't worry, and I've posted this on my channel all the time, we will streamline, the city of Bremerton will streamline all of the permitting processes to get this on the road for the opportunity zone, which is the luxury, massive, like expensive condos. So yes, they are treated differently. They're treated as if they're poor. They're taking money. It's like, if they're so wealthy, use your own money to make your development.
Right.
Thank you.
And let's let the people who are poor, the little tiny tidbits that they get, let them have that. Let's let them have the little scraps. You don't need the scraps and the billions too.
And Jill, she's awesome. She's been so gracious and patient. And before her it was Kurt, and I served on the Bremerton Housing Authority board for about a year. And the work they did with West Park and turn that into Bay Vista, I mean, that was the ghetto. That was the hood of Bremerton. And now you've got that mixed-use home ownership up there, and you've got Winco, and that whole space has been transformed, right? And so they have been good stewards and partners to the city of Bremerton. And to do that to the Bremerton Housing Authority is egregious, right?
Horrible, yeah.
And so they have not shown that they have done this city wrong, and they have taken care of this city. They've taken care of the residents. I mean, this is just really deplorable.
Well,
by
they're
the
turning the
council.
community on them too.
Yeah.
Every council member was obviously instructed to say over and over again in the very beginning, ask them about the permits.
Right.
Where's the permits?
Right.
What permits? Are you talking about the design plans?
No, that's. I'm so glad you brought that up. Let me pull this up right now, because here's the thing: city council loves to say, what they do and what's not their job. Here's your council, by the way, guys. And so I wanted to click on this here, and it says right here, The role of city council. The Bremerton City Council is made up of 7 elected city council members, each representing a district within the city. Council members listen to the residents, bring community concerns forward, adopt local laws and ordinances. Adopt, right? That means that they create. Approve the city budget and help guide priorities that shape Bremerton's future. The council also works with the mayor's office and city staff to support a safe, welcoming, and well-managed city. What does the council do? Pass local laws and ordinances, right? Which means that they're creating them, right? So when you say, hey, how come we can't get this done? Well, they're the ones that can create it.
Yeah, but
We're having a problem.
Yeah.
Well, then create it.
They're lying and saying it's someone else's problem.
Right. Fix it.
Just like they did with the mayor. They said it was all his fault too.
Absolutely.
They all blame each
Create the
other.
ordinance. Create the law. Approve the city budget and oversee spending. Approve the spending. Listen to residents and business owners and bring their concerns forward.
Or silence them.
Right. Well, last I checked, homeless people were residents, right?
Yep.
They just live here. They just don't have a dwelling.
Yes.
Residents and business owners are encouraged to contact the appropriate city department first. If concerns remain unresolved, contact your city council member for additional assistance or guidance may be appropriate. Guide the city priorities like housing, safety, parks, and infrastructure. This is all your job. Work with regional and state partners on community issues, homelessness.
The whole country's having this.
This is your job, right? This is exactly what you do. So don't tell us this isn't your job and that your hands are tied. This is exactly what you do. And so now they want to have these workshops, which really kind of seems like propaganda to me. I really wanted to go on, well, what it is we do and what it is we don't do. It's like, well, we don't want to do this. They just seem more enamored with, traffic calming and turning, everything into one lane, and multimodal transportation versus, actually really helping out.
Yeah, I mean, if, like I keep saying, do people truly represent the districts that they're running for? I know for certain that the reason I keep bringing it up, that somebody who professes to be, poor and understands the that plight, and then we find out otherwise. That's why I keep bringing it up, because people don't appear to be truly what they say they are, and their votes are telling us who they are, but people aren't listening to that, maybe, or able to follow along, because it's very nuanced.
And to me, it just seems really counterintuitive. You build the shelters, you have a place for homeless folks to be sheltered. You have a day center. You have a place for folks to be stabilized, to get the support. They're in from the elements. They have access to resources, right? They can heal physically. They can heal mentally. Hopefully they can heal spiritually. They can get back on solid footing, right? Get their resources, which takes time, right? For all of you that may be out of a job or have been out of the job in the last year, how many applications did you put in? It took a while, right? I hear people, I put in 100 applications. I put in 500 applications. What do you think the homeless are going through?
Yeah.
How long did it take for you to get your ID? Oh, you don't have a birth certificate? Oh, you don't have an address, right?
And the wages can't compete with the pricing of housing either.
So you're having all of these issues, right? So now, if you're a homeowner or you're a business owner, they're housed, they have a safe place to be, right? That means your property values are going to go up, so that's good for you. I think that's a big deal. You're probably going to feel like your children are safer, right? Because that's been a danger for you, because they have a place to be. They don't have to wander around because there's no bathrooms. They can't sit still anywhere because that's a crime, so they have to keep moving. So they're not on the street, on the sidewalk, pushing a shopping cart, because they don't have to be. There's a place for them to be. Now your kids can be out and ride their bike and walk around, right? So that's an added benefit. Well, they're less likely to use the emergency room as their primary care physician, because now that they're in the shelter, the agents there are going to make sure that they're filling out their Apple Health and getting them health care. So now they actually have a primary care physician. So now, if you need to go to the emergency room, you're not inundated waiting on the hospital room being filled full of people that are using it as primary care.
Very expensive to get your health care that way, just FYI. And it comes to the taxpayers.
Right.
They're not
That,
gonna
that
pay
we're
it.
having to pay for, right?
Mhm. Yep, we're paying for all of it.
So, I just had the chief of the fire department on the podcast here, 2 weeks ago. Shout out to the chief. And I didn't know that EMT back in the 70s or whatever came under the fire department.
Yeah, I was a firefighter EMT.
I didn't know that,
Yeah.
right? So now if they're housed, well, then you probably have less calls
Yes.
out into the world, right?
Yeah.
So now if you are a homeowner or a renter, you're housed and you have an emergency, well, that means that it's more likely that they can deploy to you,
Yes.
right?
You're having a heart
Because
attack?
they're not out
Yeah.
here,
Yeah.
right? So it's counterintuitive,
Mhm.
which means, and you're paying taxes for all these services anyway,
Mhm.
which means they're going to be more effective for you,
Up to 32 million this year. in the
which
budget.
means it's dropping for you.
Mhm.
Now, there was a stat that I learned from the county because I do a lot of work in prevention. They say $1 of prevention actually saves $18. So if we pay for it up front, it actually saves us money on the other end.
It
It's called an
does.
investment. So you're going to pay for it either way, but you actually, if you're being a fiscal hawk and you want to be fiscally responsible,
Mhm.
it's an investment. You're investing in people.
Yeah.
But it's actually cheaper for you to do it this way.
You're actually saving money yourself. Yeah. So it could be selfish too to help.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
however you want to look at it,
Yep.
that's the way that you want to do it. On the other hand, additionally, now that these folks are here, right, they're going to get stabilized.
Mhm.
They're going to get job training. They're going to end up back at OC. They're going to train. They're going to get careers. They're going to get their kids back. They're going to break that cycle of poverty. Many of them, right? The story of Rich and all the other ones.
Mhm.
We're going to change the community.
We can. And there's a common thing where they think that if you build it, they will come